Yeah, Ku's still coming along. He's making good progress, but probably won't be available for the weekend. Garrison Tubbs is still a little bit of a question mark. And Steve Birnbaum has come back this week and started training. He's still probably a couple weeks away from being fully integrated. And then lastly, Tyler Miller has been in full team training and done well.
With Ted, he's had a couple injuries now
Mm.
this spring. Is there a little bit of concern about his ability to stay healthy?
I don't think so. I think the two incidents are ones that hopefully don't crop up again. They weren't correlated, so I don't think it's a concern at all. It's concerning when we don't have him in the lineup, that's for sure. And he's a big player for us, and he feels that responsibility and wants that responsibility. So hopefully we get him fit really soon so he can continue to make the impact that he's made early in the season.
Speaking of the lineup, you'll have a few absences for this one, as you did a couple weeks ago. Adjustments will need to be made. What's the path forward in a situation like this?
Yeah, we had a similar circumstance whenever we were at St. Louis. We were just down players in terms of the international break, and then Pedro had a red card. So not having Aaron Herrera and Matty Click due to yellow card accumulation is something that will be a challenge. I mean, these are two big players in our team, but I think what you saw from us in St. Louis is that we'll be up for the challenge. We'll make sure to have the right system of play, the right tactics for the match in respect to New York City, and give ourselves the best chance to compete and win. And we're not going to focus any attention on what we don't have. We're going to focus on who we do have to try to go and get a result.
You just mentioned who you don't have, you don't focus on that, and is there some cover that no matter who you have, you're playing the same way?
Yeah.
That doesn't change it, so that provides some comfort.
This is a very important point is that regardless of players being in or out, we want to make sure to always be in our way in terms of identity, style of play, and behavior. And I think that's something that we've talked a lot about this week in relationship to even the circumstances of the game. So if we're up in a lead and we have the lead, we can't change our behavior. And that's something that we're trying to address in relationship to combating us dropping some points whenever we've had leads.
But that's also probably coming to the players in
Yeah.
terms of freeing their mind. They just have to play the way they're supposed to play.
Yeah, that's right. It's not complicated. And again, the circumstances should be a positive one. We have taken the initiative in every single match we played with the exception of Portland. And you could argue Portland was one of our best performances, but we're putting ourselves in positions to win. And so if we continue to stick to the things that we have instilled in the team, I think we're going to put ourselves in more positions to get 3 points.
What are you learning about this team? Obviously, you didn't get the 3 points you almost had last week, so where is that on your spectrum in terms of lessons learned moving
Yeah.
forward?
It's a group that comes in, and when they come in on Sunday and then they come back in on Tuesday, the 2 out of the 3 days of returning off of the Orlando City match, it's a group that's hungry. They want to find solutions, and they have the mindset of looking at themselves first. And I like that type of accountability. That's only gonna help us improve and help us eliminate any mistakes that we do make.
Is that really what it starts, accountability? You
Yes.
have that if you're going to find solutions.
Yeah, it starts with me first with accountability. I think I have to look at myself first and say I missed a few things, in the match against Orlando City, and I think I mentioned that in the post game. That's not to relieve pressure from anyone, but I think that's hopefully the players model that type of behavior as well.
We'll take some from Zoom on that.
We'll go to Byron Kerr first.
Hey, Coach, thank you for your time. I just talked to Alex Bono yesterday, and what makes him very important to you guys? What are some of his qualities that make him a good goalkeeper, and what separates him from other goalkeepers in the MLS?
I think his ability to make plays, to make the plays that he should make, but then also you've seen him this year make important saves at important times that keep us either in the match. I can think of Cincinnati. He makes 2 amazing saves to keep a clean sheet, and those aren't the ones necessarily you expect him to make. They're big plays in the match, and I can point to countless others. Of course, Alex, speaking of accountability, he looks at Orlando City and says he wants that set piece moment back. He can make that play or make a better decision there. But on the whole, I've been very, very impressed with his ability to make the plays that he should make and then at least once, maybe twice in a match, make a play that gives us a lot of momentum and gives us a boost.
I know there was a ton of yellow cards in that match, and you just talked to Dave about that as well. And as a coach, when you're in those heated situations, what can you do, I guess, to remind the players, to just play the match? But is that the most difficult thing to do when it gets emotional and physical like that in a match?
Yeah, I think it's an important thing that we've tried to address this week is we did an excellent job while all that was going on to go up 2-1 in the match. So I think we were able to stay focused and stay disciplined. But we also have to say that we're an aggressive team. And so when you're an aggressive team and you pick up a silly yellow card, now that's on your mind, and you have to play with that the rest of the match, and you can't be fully in the behavior that we want to see. So that's something that we have to address and make sure that if we get fouls where we're trying to be in our way, we have to live with that. We have to live with those decisions. But there's some circumstances that we can do without, and I think we'll try to improve on that going forward.
Next, we'll go to Dennis Gomez. Dennis, go ahead.
We'll take from the room, Steven.
Troy, you've had a trend of taking the lead in most games this year and getting results, especially on the road. But of course, there's been a couple games where you haven't been able to hold that lead. Is there something mentality-wise that you have to work on with the team? Is there something that you notice falls off a bit when you have a lead? What's the stuff?
Yeah, this was a topic this week. Clearly, it needed to be, and what we discussed was how, similar to the question that I answered earlier. How do we make sure that we don't change our behavior when we do go up in a match? And so we want to remain aggressive, but we also have to recognize that you're going to potentially be in situations where you have ball wins, and we love to go forward fast, and we're dangerous in those moments. But you can't do that throughout the course of 90 minutes every single time. So we need to be able to relieve pressure at the right time with the ball as well. I think that'll give us, an ability to sustain our against the ball behavior. And I'd say the last part of that is many things. The reason that we've been able to take leads is because we've trained so many different things that I think we're performing at a high level. And so the things that maybe we haven't trained as often, that's my responsibility. We're not performing, the in-match game management. And so that's some things that we've been working on this week as a collective to find some solutions. And you can't do it all. You can't do it all. You have to try to prepare yourself as best as possible. And the things that we've prepared the group on, I think you've seen executed. Now we have to just keep adding to the mix in order to see these games out.
Did you, last year with Red Bulls, did you ever go to, you never went to City Field, did you?
Never went to City Field, no.
Okay. And what's your scouting report on the field there compared to Yankee?
Well, we have Cody Mizell, who played at New York City for a few years, so he's given us a little bit of insight on that, and we'll keep that insight, not for the press conference, but for internally.
Size-wise, though?
I think it's about the same. Yeah.
But it is a topic that comes up for people. I mean, I know I think about it. We've been going back days to Spartan Stadium or whatever. It does kind of play with you mentally. But
It hadn't really been too much of a topic this week. I mean, we recognize the dimensions are going to be a little bit different, and it's a converted baseball field. But we're not putting a ton of focus on that right now. Yeah.